What's going on, Booking Lab? What's up, guys? We are day 4 of this week's photography marketing blueprint, right? So I'm really excited for today. We're going to talk about things that people are doing that are just basically wasting time and how to identify those things that you should be doing that are actually valuable, that's actually bringing in income to your business so you can continue to do what you love. Now, as a recap, on day 1, we talked about basically niching down, finding your audience, and how to find pain points and craft your message, right? Day 2, we essentially talked about funnels. Day 3, we talked about how to build a list and nurture that list. And then today, we are going to see how do I identify where my leads are coming from, right? And then how do I do more of that versus just spinning your gears and wasting time? Because really, honestly, again, I like to keep my finger on the pulse of the photography industry, and I do that by hanging out in groups and seeing what people are really talking about and, essentially what they're doing. The thing that I see the most is, social media and Instagram and people complaining about the algorithm, right? So, I need more leads, I'm spending all this time on Instagram and nothing's happening. Well, there is one way to identify whether your efforts on Instagram, Facebook, things like that are worth your effort. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today. And then I'm going to show you, basically simplify it and break it down. Here, let me pull up the tangent. Let me pull up the video real quick on my phone so I can keep track of comments and say hi to you guys as you jump on. All right, so if you're jumping on, say hello. Tiana, what's up, girl? How you doing? So I'm going to help you identify exactly what you should be doing. So, because let's be honest, we all have the same amount of time in a day, like 24 hours, right? Mary, what's going on? And as photographers, it's really important that we focus on those things that are what's up, Anthony? That are actually going to bring us business. That's actually going to put money in our pockets. And once you figure those things out, then you don't have to spend 12, 13, 14 hours a day working on your business. And honestly, you're going to identify the 2, 3 things that you really need to be working on. You work on those things every single day, and then when you're done, that's it. And you're going to have a thriving, successful business. So without further, my gosh, I am having a hard time with my T's today, T's and H's, right? So I'm going to hop right in, right? And I'm going to get into the slideshow. So let me switch over to my screen, and I'm going to hit play. So I'm calling this finding your time wasters, right? There's a lot of things that we do that we just waste time on. Like I'm there with you. Like I am in the trenches with you. Like Dana and I are running a full-time wedding photography business, right? But we've been at this for some time, so we like to share our knowledge with you guys. And we will be the first to admit, like, we waste time on silly stuff all the time. Like, I'll get distracted, and then next thing I know, I'm playing a video game on my phone, right, for like 5-10 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I got a test to do. Or I'll be surfing, on Instagram, and I'll justify it saying, hey, I'm looking for couples to, like, connect with. And in all reality, I'm looking at other people's work and doing funny stuff, right? So at the end of the day, it's just important to focus and really hone in on what's important, okay? And I'm going to talk about that. So if you've never heard of Erica, what's going on? If you've never heard of the 80-20 rule, let me introduce it to you today. So essentially, there's actually a book on this. You can look it up on Amazon. It's a great book. If it's a quick read, you can listen to it on audio. But basically, the principle is this. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Think about that. Let's say that you have 10 ways to generate leads, right? The top 2 ways that you generate leads is going to bring you 80% of your business. Does that make sense? Let me do that again. If you have 10 sources of leads, let's say I get leads from social media, I get leads from referrals, I get leads from my website, etc., 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 right? The top 2 of that list produces 80% of my results. And that goes with anything, right? So, the 80-20 rule, the important thing is identifying that 20% that's getting you those 80% of results. And that is key when it comes to your business, so you're not spinning your gears, you are not wasting time and all stressed out because you feel like you have to do all these tasks. Whenever we are feeling overwhelmed, one of the things that I do to de-stress and refocus is I literally write down all my tasks that are in my head on a piece of paper, and I say, hey, these are all the things on my mind, here's what I feel like I need to do. And then I'll sit down and I'll circle the things that are the absolute most important. Like, these have to get done or we are not going to eat or we are not going to book more clients. All that other stuff is just noise. So I focus on those tasks first if I get those done first, and then I'll do the rest. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to ask yourself, and you're going to write this down. You're going to say, hey, where are my leads coming from, right? So you need to focus on what is working. Is it coming from social media? Is it coming from word of mouth? Is it coming from Google search? Is it paid advertising? Is it bridal shows, open houses? Is it mini sessions? Is it, model calls? Like, whatever your business framework is, where are your leads coming from? You need to dig down and figure this out. It shouldn't take you that long, honestly. But, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So, you may not know, but if you take 10, 15 minutes today, just look through like all of your last book clients, right? And just write them down on a piece of paper, and then just basically say, hey, this person came from this and this and this and this source. And then what you're going to start to see is a trend. I guarantee you there's going to be two sources that are your money makers, right? Those two sources are what you're going to want to focus on. Now, if you're just like, well, I get a lot of leads on my website, but I just don't know where those leads are coming from. Well, there's a pro tip here at the bottom. If you don't already have this, install Google Analytics as soon as possible. At the end of this slideshow, I'm going to show you my Google Analytics and the data that I can pull from there. But if someone isn't directly DMing you, like in your Facebook inbox, or directly DMing you on Instagram, or calling you, right? It's really hard to track where those people are coming from if they're coming from your website, right? So I'll uncover that and kind of show you exactly what's going on and where those people are coming from, all right? So that's question number one. Where's everyone coming from, right? Question number two is, what is my booking rate for each one of those sources? And am I happy with those types of clients? Because let's be honest, you may get a lot of bookings from a certain source, but if you don't like working with those people, if they are not ideal clients, then why continue to do that, right? If it's cheap people who are not willing to pay for your services, there's one of two problems. Either it's your marketing and your messaging and the way you're delivering value, or just that source of leads is just not a good avenue, right? It's just not where your ideal clients are hanging out. So you need to take a look at, hey, what is my booking percentage? And the way you do that is you just say, hey, for my website, I got 24 leads, and out of those 24 leads, I booked 9 of them. That will come out to a 37.5% booking rate. Now, that's just an example. You would want your booking rate to at least be 50% or more, okay? If it's lower than that, then that is usually a sign of something going with the way that you're approaching your in-person consultations, your phone calls, whatever. That's a different video for a different day. But what we're trying to find in here is, what is my rate, and based on how many leads I'm getting, because that's going to tell you the quality of your leads, right? All right, what now? So once you identify those top sources, what you're going to do is you're going to stop everything. You're literally going to pause. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to double and triple down on the number one source of bookings, and stop or spend less time on activities that are not generating leads and ultimately bookings, right? So if you find that I'm spending 4 hours a day on Instagram and Facebook and 1 hour a day on my website, but I'm getting more leads and bookings from my website and I'm barely getting anything from Facebook and Instagram, stop the social media use, reduce that to the 1 hour, and then start working on your website 3 to 4 hours, okay? I see a lot of photographers doing this, right? And I think the reason, honestly, is because they just don't know where the leads are coming from. Now, it's important that, hey, maybe your website is producing those bookings. Maybe they are producing those leads because I am active on social media. Well, I'm going to show you again, Google Analytics is going to give you the truth serum saying, hey, this is how many people you're getting from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, etc. Right? I'm going to show that to you at the end of this video, so hang with me. Then my next tip is going to say, while you're working on your number one source, and you get comfortable with that, and you feel like you've done everything you could, look at your second source. And what I want you to start doing is testing that out and seeing if you can make it better. Okay? So maybe your second source is Facebook ads. Maybe you're generating leads from Facebook ads, but it just hasn't been as the way you want it. So now I'm comfortable with the amount of leads I'm getting from my website. I'm now going to focus on Facebook ads. And I'm going to start, working on that until I get really good with Facebook ads. All right? And then eventually your final goal is to have 3 or 4 of these lead resources where you're having people inquiring with you, on a regular basis so that you can turn them into bookings. So that way it's not feast or famine with your business, right? Like, I have 4 sources that I can generate leads from where people can find me. They actively want my business and my services. Excuse me, and they're reaching out to me because, like the old saying goes, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? You don't want to just be like, oh, I'm really good at Facebook ads and I'm just going to continue to do Facebook ads until, not do anything else, right? The issue with that is what happens when Facebook Ad Manager breaks or your account gets shut down or they do something with, the ad platform, right? Or maybe I'm just all word of mouth and referrals. That's it. That's all I've ever done, right? Well, what happens when that person moves out of town or that person stops referring you and finds somebody else, right? Like, you can't just rely on one source. So, find the sources that are working and then start working on additional sources, one at a time. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and get your fingers on a lot of stuff where you see a shiny object or somebody's doing a different tactic. Don't, right? So that's my encouragement and my tips to you. So the way that we've been generating, so we do wedding photography. So our top sources for bookings this past year, we literally have built our photography business on doing, when we first started out, it was engagement session giveaways and then bridal shows. Bridal shows are our moneymaker. Now, since we've gone full time, we've had the ability to put more time into our blog and our website. So our second source has been referrals in Google. My ultimate goal is just to be referrals in Google as my number one source. And then I would like to do more like venue open houses because all that stuff is free and it doesn't cost me any extra time. So right now we're continuing to do bridal shows. At the same time, we're working on our website and our blog and getting our organic reach out there, right? Because I want people finding us on the web and coming to us. I do some ads throughout the year. I feel like I'm decent at ads, but I don't feel like I am an ad pro by any means. But it does bring us bookings. I got 6 bookings off of ads this past year. And then we recently got into a venue open house. And we've gotten 3 weddings off of that, which has been incredible. We show up for 3 hours. We meet with a few couples. We love the venue. We love the people there. And the couples that come out of there are awesome. Like, that's where you want to get, because I don't have to sit there and post every single day and do all this social media and produce all this content. Like, I just show up to this open house and I get leads and bookings. Like, that is the point you want to get, because then now you free up time to do the other things that are important in your business, like actually take care of your paying clients, right? So that's what you need to do. You need to list out where all your leads are coming from, where all your past bookings are coming from. So my number one source is bridal shows, right? So I feel like I got bridal shows on lockdown. Right now I'm working on referrals in Google. Once I have that going down, I'm probably going to be working more on ads and trying to get into venue open houses. So that's kind of a practical example of how that would work. Now I want to show you Google Analytics real quick and how this works, okay? So let me get out of this. Now, if this looks like foreign to you, I apologize, but I feel like every photography business has to have a Google Analytics account. Now, Google Analytics is it's a free thing, and think of it like this. is Google Analytics is a tracking system to let you know who's visiting your website, and then it gives you some extra data like, hey, how long did they hang out on your website? Where did they come from? How many people are showing up? Etc., etc., right? Now, you can go on YouTube and just type in how to install Google Analytics, right? Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to sign up for an account. It's free. It's going to give you some code. You take that code and then you put it on your website, right? There's lots of tutorials. If you have questions, ask me. I'd be happy to walk you through it. But here's what's going to happen. So once you get Google Analytics installed on your site, what you're going to do is you're going to come down and you're going to click on Acquisition. There's going to be a drop down, and there's going to be another box where it says Traffic. If I click Traffic and I click Channels, I am going to see where all my website visitors are coming from. Now I have this goal over here. I have a goal where basically if someone fills out my contact form, Google keeps track of that. So over the past 6 months or so, I've gotten 21 inquiries through my contact form. It's nothing spectacular. Like if you look at this, like this should be 1%. I'm at 0.5%, right? So I'm not doing that fantastic, right? So this is something I'm actively working on for my own business. But if you look over here, what you're going to see is, look at this, guys, social media. So if I look at social media and I come over here, I'm at 0.27%, which is it's the lowest out of everything. So that means all my social media efforts, right? Is it paying off? I don't know. Look at it. I only have 3 bookings from my social media efforts. Not 3 bookings, but 3 leads, right? Now, take this number for granted because you have to make sure that you take into consideration if someone reaches out to you directly on Facebook or Instagram. Add that into these numbers, right? So if 5 people reached out to you on Instagram, then this would be 8, right? Then you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. So direct is basically someone types in BuchananPhotography.com direct, and they come straight to my website. Organic search is basically someone typed in Google, and they came across my website using organic search. Other is just like random stuff. It's typically organic, and then referral is typically there's a link somewhere, and someone clicks on it and comes to my site. Now, what's really cool about Google Analytics is if I click on social, I'm going to be able to see what my top, Lauren, what's up, Lauren? Where my top social platforms are. So as you can see, people are visiting me from Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram stories. That's good to know. Yelp and YouTube. I actually got a lead from YouTube. How cool is that? So what we do is we actually take our clients' photo reveals and we put it on YouTube. So I'm getting found on YouTube, which is awesome. But if you're like spending all this time on social media, you're like, guys, I just don't know if this is working. If you have Google Analytics installed and set up, if you look back here, this is going to immediately tell you if it is or not. So, oh, I did not mean to do that. So if you look back here, I get a lot of traffic from Facebook, but a lot of that is because I run Facebook ads. Instagram stories, people always love our Instagram stories. You can see that's doing well. Pinterest, we started getting into Pinterest recently. We've been kind of diving into that. So you want to look at new users. I've gotten 88 people to my website using Pinterest, and I even got an inquiry from that. All right? So this is how you identify what's working for you. So if I'm like, all right, I have a little bit of time today to spend on putting out some content, right? My options are Facebook, Instagram stories, Pinterest, Yelp, or YouTube. I'm going to come over here and look and say, hey, where am I generating the most leads for kind of what I'm doing? Look at YouTube, 14%, right? So I haven't gotten a lot of users from there. I've gotten one user, and they ended up filling out my contact form, right? The second thing I would probably look at is Pinterest. So Pinterest is probably something I would probably spend a lot more time in. If you think about it, it's where couples are hanging out. It's where people are planning. That's where moms are doing things. Like Pinterest, we just haven't gotten on board. I know it's valuable, but it's something that we're starting to do, and I'm already starting to see results from it, right? So Anyways, I just wanted to show you guys how this works. I just wanted to show you how Google Analytics can identify if you're getting a lot of website inquiries, where those inquiries are no kidding coming from, right? So now when you sit down at the end of the day and you're ready to start putting some time and work into something, you know where your traffic sources are coming from. All right? So that's all I got for you. I'm going to stop it there. We're at the 20-minute mark, which is kind of the cutoff point. If you have questions, please drop it in the video. I'm always happy to hop on there and answer those questions for you and guide you through or create extra videos. I just want to see you guys get results, right? And the key to getting results is just take those baby steps day in and day out. I understand this was a long week. It was a crash course. It was 20 minutes each day. Feel free to, work through those videos. I'm not going to be doing a lot of videos next week. If anything, I'm going to be following up and kind of seeing how people are doing. But this isn't the sexy stuff. Like I talked about this yesterday. This isn't the sexy stuff that people see, right? Everyone always sees like, oh, I did cold outreach to 50 people and I got someone to reply to me. Well, it's a lot of work, right? People like that instantaneous results. This will get you some instantaneous results, but in the long run, it's going to get you the most consistent results that you can depend on, and that's what you want. That's the only way that your business is going to thrive, okay? We've been doing this for 6-7 years, I promise you, right? There's a lot of false information out there. There's a lot of like crazy information out there. A lot of it just don't agree with it, okay? I'm going to show you guys what actually works, okay? I hope you guys have a fantastic day. It's Thursday. Let me know what you're doing this weekend. Are you photographing? What's the weather like? Like, what are you working on? What's your goals? Hit me up, and I'll see you guys around. Bye. Whoop. Am I still recording? I think I am.